and I don't know if I came up with it, but what serves you doesn't always bring you pleasure, and what brings you pleasure doesn't always serve you.
Right.
People always look at, and it's great. I think it's a great idea to do what you love. You know what I mean? But sometimes the thing that you're doing that you love, isn't serving you, and the thing sometimes that you may hate is really bringing you great benefit. So you have to find a balance with that. You always have to none of us. School probably doesn't bring a lot of us pleasure.
No.
But it's going to serve you.
Right.
I mean, it's going, if you complete that, it's going to serve you.
I'm telling you, kids, please don't be like me. I did the 2-year degree, and then I said, I think I'm good. That should be good enough. No. I hit that ceiling real fast. And now I'm getting my, finishing up, getting my 4-year degree now, and I'm 38. I'm telling you, it's not bringing me pleasure right now. I had to do homework, still having to be a dad, do my church work and stuff like that. It's not bringing me pleasure at all with school, but it's going to bring pleasure, but I got to get there and do the work and get there. So, yeah.
And that's one of those things, you don't get half credit.
No.
I would love some half credit. If I can take half of my potential income, that would be. It'll probably motivate me to finish, just as a little incentive. But it doesn't. That stuff, it just does not bring you pleasure. People keep saying, "Do what makes you happy." Well, sometimes to get to your happiness, you have to get through a little bit. You know what I mean? And school isn't all bad. And school is just one thing. You know what I mean? Working at internship is going to greatly serve you.
But
it doesn't bring you any pleasure. And sometimes, selling speakers with your cousin, you know what I mean, brings you pleasure, or doing a mixtape or whatever.
Right.
Now, it could always pay off. You know what I mean? But
what's
it
the chances? What's the odds? That's another thing.
Partying, being out with that girl that you love, or not love, or think you love, or whatever. It brings you great pleasure, but it doesn't really serve you. She's not trying to help. She's not trying to help you.
If it is a love, why do I feel this way?
And we're not knocking. It's good to have a partner, to have a ride or die road dog partner in the beginning before you blow up. But then, like I say, people.
Then you got to define happiness or pleasure. There's some warped people out there, man. Do it make you happy to make everybody around you devastated and feel like crap? You know what I'm saying?
Workplace snitches.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think they actually get pleasure by sending email. Yeah. He was on his phone for 3.7 seconds, and then he was on Facebook for at least 39 seconds. I know he was on there. He looked at 2 stories. They had to be 25.3 seconds apiece. And they're sending those emails.
And that's the sad thing about brown noses.
It's just how turnover jobs.
That's the sad thing about brown noses. If they, instead of the energy they put into being a brown nose, if they put that into actually gaining the skill of the job that they're doing, they'll be much further ahead.
But being a quote-unquote brown noser gives them pleasure. We want to do what brings us pleasure.
Exactly.
But if they put that same energy trying to do what serves them, that's different. That applies to your relationship.
Because what happens with brown noses is, I've seen it, that they'll get up to a certain point and they have to actually do the job. They can't do it.
And then you got all the real workers, the doers, the people that were putting the numbers up. You got rid of them.
Right.
And now you kind of now you start point guard. Now let's see what you going to do.
Or they get mad because they was brown nosing for an agenda and they didn't get that agenda. Because of the pay quality. Because of the pay quality.
Exactly.
Man, I've been brown nosing you, man, and you can't give me a $10,000 raise, man. I'm going home. See you later.
Yeah, I promise. Nothing is promised.
Nothing is promised. Nothing is promised. So, but yeah, man, you gotta be careful about that, man, because it's reality. It's what you think, and it's the truth, and it's reality.
It's also what you feel, because feelings in this world are so important,
and they change too.
Right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. That is the thing that people follow your heart, follow your feelings. You grow, you mature.
Yeah,
I think so. I don't know if it's a word, but some people
I think that's what made me weird, because
devolve,
running off feeling, man. Feelings change, man. I mean, one day you may feel like this, and one day I may feel like McDonald's, the next day I might feel like going to Sonic, man. You know what I'm saying? It changed just like that.
Yeah, and
then you may get a burger from Sonic, but you may get a limeade from you may get a burger from McDonald's, a limeade from Sonic, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, they do sound like it do kind of.
You gotta be careful, man.
Don't makes you happy.
Let your feelings drive your life, because feelings change. You gotta have some logic behind.
And you gotta have something concrete. I mean, because if you're in there changing majors because you felt something different. I want to be this.
Because the teacher in astronomy class made you feel different because he was talking about the planets. So Neil deGrasse.
Now you feel like you want to go into that. Now you feel like you want to go into religion. Now
this teacher was talking about stars and the Milky Way.
Now you feel like you want to go abroad and get enriched.
It was so nice. But does that pay though? Is that going to provide you stability? Have you ever heard?
We're not knocking self-care, self-love, or mental health. I mean, your feelings are important, are valid, but sometimes you can be sitting there with satisfied feelings, and you did all this work or this fighting for something or somebody you don't even love anymore. Like, think 5 years in the past, that person when you were in when you were 15, you're 20, 21 now, that person that you couldn't live without. At 15, all those feelings you had for that person, now you don't even think about them.
Yeah.
So we like to we like to base a lot of things. We love to live and we love our children. I have feelings about my children, but you have to kind of like sometimes when it comes to your career and some stuff is.
And then things, if you got any sense, things change when your age group, like, what pleasures you or what brings you pleasure in your 20s or motivate you in your 20s versus what in your 30s may change. Because stability, most people, when you're in your 20s, you don't even think about stability. You don't even have a wherewithal most of the time. But stability don't serve you well when you're young because you have to give up stuff. But as you get older, you got kids, you got a family and a wife. It's going to serve you well because you got stability and everybody, is able to be on a solid, a solid platform of stability. You know what I'm saying? So,
or sometimes when your parents, sometimes generational blessings can be generational curses. Like with having stable grandparents, stable parents, you can deprioritize your stability. As a teenager, in your early 20s, you don't have to get a job. My parents gave me my first car. College is kind of taken care of and stuff like that. If you don't get, it's probably not going to be a priority, but if you don't get into that follower's mindset with trying to do what your parents laid out for you, because it won't be,
it's the stability don't mean you're going to have everything that you want. I mean, you still...
But you got to do it yourself.
It's like having cereal, but you can't afford the Fruit Loops. You get the Fruit Rings, you know what I'm saying? It's still cereal. Milk sweet. You still eating, the milk sweet, but it's Fruit Rings, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes instead of Captain Crunch, you got to get the King Vitamins, man, you know what I'm saying? I like King Vitamins, you know what I'm saying? I prefer it.
The best.
I prefer it. It ain't the best, but I live, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? I got my vitamins, you know what I mean? I'm 250. But that's another thing as well. When you're like, like I said, your parents, set the groundwork. It's like, a lot of stuff is given. But when you kind of come from like a single parent home or something like that, it's sometimes it's like you're forced into, you got to get a job. You got to do it, and you start to do this. You're doing stability by necessity.
Yeah, that's what I had to
learn. Because you have to.
It wasn't easy, though. I promise it wasn't easy, man.
Because you and your mama finna get kicked out if you don't get a job. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You talking about you eating half a hot pocket.
No, you learn how to be be selfless and not selfish.
For the team. Yeah,
man. Because I mean, if you meet a dude that ain't gonna take care of his mom, that's gonna probably be a pretty sorry dude, man. If you ain't gonna help your mom, man. But a lot of times girls didn't understand that. We was young, they didn't understand that. They just thought you living with